Hello everybody, back with a new video. This video is what narcissists do when you go no contact. This is the 5th edition of the same video. Well, it's a new video. It's a new version. And there have been more hoovering attempts by my dad. And to give you guys the background on what no contact, June 9th, 2016, the day after I graduated high school, right? The very first video of this YouTube channel, right, was what happened right before that graduation, right? And that was the last straw for me. Because you can watch that video, and that's bad enough, what happened in that video and the circumstances surrounding that, right? But it gets a hell of a lot worse as far as all the things he's done. Just terrible. And the more and more I'm removed from that, the more and more I realize now how important it was for me to go no contact. And I look back at almost 4 years, and I'm like, I don't know how I really had that strength to go no contact to begin with. It's crazy. So go no contact, June 9th, to give you guys some background. We get to July 17th, 2016. Hoovering attempt number 1. My dad calls my mom, goes off on her on the phone. I'm literally in my bedroom. My mom's in the living room. The phone's not even on speaker, but I can still hear him. Unbelievable how loud he was on that phone. And unbelievable how my mom was so willing to put up with that. That very same day, I had gotten a text message from my dad in a very calm, almost lighthearted manner, offering me an opportunity to help with school supplies for me beginning college. At the time, I was going to begin college that fall. He had offered to help with school supplies and stuff like that. And the crazy thing about all of this is just how he can go from tearing my mom up on the phone to, hey, you need any help with school supplies? You know what I mean? So, and that summer, my mom was tearing into me for cutting him out of my life, right? Because I should have kept him around so that he could help me buy the school supplies I needed to go to school. So no matter how this person treats you, you should keep them around because they bring some kind of benefit to you. And I wasn't going to roll like that. I just don't believe in that. The damage that these kinds of people do to you is too much. It's too much. So this, to give you guys some more background, 10 days later, July 27th, I had blocked 5 or 6 numbers of his. He made several hoovering attempts through his work phone numbers. So I go off to college, come back, November. That's when a lot of shit went down. Sorry to swear. So, discovered that around September, he had made numerous phone calls to my mom. And Lord knows what went on there. The narcissistic rage is high at this point. When I stopped living with him 3 years prior to all of this, to the no contact. The narcissistic rage was high just because I stopped living with him, but I was still in contact with him up until I went no contact in 2016, right? So you can imagine how much the narcissistic rage has increased now that I've completely cut contact, right? So obviously Thanksgiving, November 2016, he showed up to my apartment, me and my mom's apartment, and literally my mom lets him right in, but I had basically barricaded myself in my room because I was not going to have any contact with him. I think my door was knocked on several times. I was nervous, man. Like, almost shaking. Like, is my mom going to unscrew the door to force me to interact with him, or is he going to try to do that? Yeah, I was pretty worried, but I think I had a pretty good plan as to what I was going to do should anything go wrong. Yeah, I was going to call the cops. They would handle that situation. So, just to give you guys some background, some early background as to all of that, it gets a lot worse. We get to April 2017, and the cops come to my mom's work. And this was at the request of my dad and stepmom to check on my mom to make sure she's doing okay. And this is out of care and generosity. So this is the kind of thing the narcissist does. That's kind of the messed up things that they do, right? They'll pretend to care, right? And they'll do some really effed up stuff to show that they care. But the intention is to regain control, regain contact with the people that they are trying to control to begin with. So I think they got a lot of supply from that. So not much happens for the next year. To give you guys additional background, there was a voice message left by my dad at around June 2018 asking me to call him back. And it is what it is. And, of course, I had to block another number, or at least try to. So another year goes by. There were rumors through some of my hockey teammates that he would show up to the rink looking for me before or after games. The captain of my hockey team literally reached out to me. I was like, there's a guy with glasses, African looking dude with glasses at the rink. And I'm like, not very many people match that description. So anyway, I was a little nervous, but I got through it. A year goes by. September 2019. Listen, we're almost approaching 10 minutes. And I have to give you guys this background info just to let y'all know all the things that have gone on in the past few years, to give you guys background, but to also show you the lengths that these narcissists are willing to go to reestablish contact, to regain control. So September 2019, I think September 30th, I'm with my friends. We're watching a NASCAR race. I'm in like turn 2. And I have a relatively new phone. There's a message from my dad. See his phone number? It was a relatively new phone, so his number is unblocked. It's going to go through. So I realized, oh shit, excuse my language. Oh crap, I have to, make sure I, block that number. So all of this takes us to what literally happened just yesterday. give or take. So I get a really creepy message from Charlie, my last name. First name, Charlie. Last name, my last name. I'm not going to reveal that information. But I get a weird message saying, hey, it's my half-sister's name. Now, my half-sister's name is not Charlie. Okay. And why is this so significant? Well, Charlie was the name of the family dog while I was growing up. It was Charlie. So, just to give you guys some context here. So, here you are coming at me with Charlie, and the first 3 words of the message preview was, hey, it's my half-sister's name. So that's not a very genuine approach. I don't think you're really that truthful if the name that you're coming at me with doesn't even match with the name of the person actually messaging me. And I can guarantee you it wasn't actually my half-sister reaching out to me. It was my dad. Thinking and hoping that I wouldn't say no to my half-sisters, whom, by the way, they live with him and my stepmom. And they've been told numerous things about me that aren't even true. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, my stepmom would tell the oldest half-sister, the one that supposedly reached out to me, she would tell her that I had ADHD and had all these conditions. Part of the gaslighting, part of the lie spreading, part of the manipulation. So that's just an example. And this kind of thing was going on as early as me being 10 or 11 years old. So, yeah, I already know that they've been indoctrinated. And half of my sisters are going to become codependent. Half of them are going to become narcissists themselves. So, for now, I don't want those problems. I got to protect myself. And I felt guilty for years about this when I went no contact with my dad. But anyway, I tried to not look at the message that I got the other day. But this was the most interesting scheme, I guess, out of all of this. Because, again, you're using the family dog's name. We had to put him down a few years ago. Several years ago, because it's been years since I went no contact. So it's been a while. But you're using the family dog's name, right? And then you're also saying that you're someone else. But it's really likely my dad. So it's like, there's so many things wrong with this picture. Okay? So many fucked up things. And these are the lengths the narcissists are willing to go to reestablish contact, regain some kind of control over your life. It's unbelievable. They'll catfish you on dating apps. I mean, I've deleted all my dating apps. The people I would attract would be a carbon copy of what I grew up around. But the point is, the hoovering attempts, they'll do anything. These kinds of people will literally do anything. If they have to send the cops to your place to check on you, they'll do that. If they have to pretend to be a sibling, one of their flying monkeys, by the way, to get through to you, they'll do that. They'll do anything to reestablish that contact. So there's some suggestions that I have especially for Facebook, because they like to attack on Facebook. So the number one thing I suggest, and this should be somewhat of a takeaway for you for this video, the number one thing you should do is make sure that you make your Facebook profile private, so that they can't access your friends, your friend lists. They can't see your friends or how many friends you have. Make sure they can't see any of that information. Make sure they can't find your friends so that they can click on it and find you that way. Just make sure that you keep that stuff private. Also, another thing I want to suggest is your posts. Make sure you don't post about the narcissist, period, because they'll fucking go after you. Or use it as proof that you're crazy and stuff like that. That's how they perpetuate the gaslighting. But number 3, what I really suggest is to make sure that your posts are going only to your friends, your Facebook friends. And I hope before all of these steps that you've cut all contact to people who are connected with this person that you're no contact with. Make sure that none of these friends out of your friend list have any connection to the person you went no contact with, so that you can be protected. And then your friend list of all the friends that you've made since you've gone no contact, hopefully, make sure they're protected so that the narcissist can't reach out to them and spread a bunch of lies about you. That kind of thing. So, just another video as to the extent to which these kinds of people will go to literally wreak havoc on your life after you establish no contact. And it's a never-ending cycle. We'll be talking about this. There'll be more hoovering attempts. There'll be more Facebook accounts made. And I think it's going to get crazier and crazier. But I've prepared myself. I was a little nervous, I'm on edge yesterday, but I'm more prepared for what happens. So, hope that you find this video somewhat helpful, and leave a like, a comment, and hopefully a subscription. I would really appreciate that. Thanks.